Coach Mike Leach, Mississippi State University, joins us. Coach, we're reliving high school glory days here on the show. Do you have one? Do you have a moment of athletic glory that you'd like to relive right now?
Oh, shoot. Not really. I'll tell you, it's funny. I mean, everybody remembers some little event or whatever. I mean, I was on the sideline when we won the state championship in triple overtime versus Laramie versus the guy named John Detide, the winningest coach in the history of high school football at that time. And then, some deal, or you hit a ball, or you throw a ball, or you catch a ball, and, you think it's kind of a big deal. But my most memorable times were coaching. I mean, some of those, because I started coaching baseball when I was 15, and some of those teams I coached, I mean, I was a kid, and the adults are coaching the other teams, and, we'd have one season. We had a hell of a season. I think we went 21-1 that year. Oh, wow. And I got just the memories of some of those young kids doing things. Like, guys I was coaching. Joke, I wrote a story, and there's been articles about a kid named Joe. Wasn't a very good hitter, and I didn't want him in there. We're playing the best team in the league against the best pitcher in the league, and we're behind 3 runs, and Joe hits a triple, and I mean, just out of the blue, just totally exceeds anything anybody expected, the ultimate moment in time, Another time I had a kid, I'm going to say he was 11, so a young kid, and we're about to lose a game. He's playing third. Okay, and we got one out. This run scores. They're ahead, so there's a man on third. Well, he pump fakes the ball. He's at third base. Pump fakes the ball, gets the guy at third off, tags him, and then throws to first to close out the inning. I mean, I can go on and on, things like that. But I guess, where as a whole team you work together, coached a group of guys, and, good things happen with everybody together. And I know that's kind of an idealistic Frank Capra movie sort of answer, but, that is what kind of sticks with you. I mean, the more people involved the bigger it is.
Most coaches in the off season, I see them, they go to the lake or they go to the beach with their families. You went to Dubai. How was that trip?
Dubai's something that people ought to see. I think it seems to me that people either really like Dubai or, kind of hold it in medium esteem. It wasn't my favorite spot. It's got the biggest mall in the world. And I was at the biggest mall in the world, and on Twitter there's a picture of us, dressed up in the mall in Desert Arab gear. The party that went with us saw some great buildings, but in my case, it was incredibly hot. The buoyancy in the Indian Ocean is more than the Pacific or the Atlantic, because I was riding at the top of the water in there. I couldn't wait to get to Africa, and I enjoyed Africa more than Dubai.
And now you're back home, getting ready. Practice starts, I think, next Saturday is when everything gets going for you guys. When you think about the off season and strength and conditioning, and they always say that the strength and conditioning coach is one of the most important guys on the staff. How do you coordinate with your strength and conditioning coaches? How do you what role do you play in designing the program that they give to the athletes?
Well, when we first started working together, a much more significant one. So Tyson worked with the guy I had before, and so I kind of set the vision of it, and even some specific drills and approaches and philosophy that was important to me. But then you want them to have the freedom to create and develop it because they're thinking about it more than you are. And then, because that's their job. And then, of course, they're going to invent, see, and develop things at a higher rate than you're going to be able to because, you hired them because they know more about it to begin with. It's like Bear Bryant said, don't hire somebody that doesn't know something you don't. Otherwise, you can just do it. And then, so early on, got kind of set the course and, well, we do this and we like this and we want this and this way, not that way a little bit. But as far as, and those were just general kind of strokes there. As far as the specifics, they handle all the specifics. And then now it's a lot more routine. Now is he hires assistants. These assistants kind of have a sense and, do things our way, our approach. And so, and that's what you want to get to where, your system perpetuates itself and you're doing, things in a good fashion that reinforces your philosophy. And, and our strength staff does a tremendous job of that, and, coupled with that, you want to bring tremendous energy and motivation, but also, there's a specific way, a right way, and you want them to have the latitude to develop and address things that they see on the way at different courses in the parts of the, the off season.
When we talked last week at SEC Media Days, I asked you about your quarterbacks, and you said, you want to find out who the guy's going to be so you can start getting the guy the appropriate number of reps. How many practices does that take you? How long before you can really have a feel for that's my guy out there?
Well, you'd have to do it quicker than you want. You have to do it at a faster rate than you'd like to because you got, games coming up. But I think it takes about 2 weeks.
And then, 2 weeks in, how did the reps change at that point? I assume it's a sort of a split between everything when you first start.
Well, as you get to the season, it depends how many you have. If you have 3 or 4, you're going to get a look at all of them, and then you're going to pare it down, and then you might have one guy get more, but 2 guys still repping. But in the end, when you get into the season, ideally you want to try to give one guy about 2/3, and then your backup about 1/3.
We only got about a minute left here, Coach. But does this feel more like year one for you than last year did, when considering you had the full spring, the full summer of workouts? Does this feel like where you should be in year one?
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. A lot of stops and starts last year.
Yeah, no question about that. Looking forward to a full Davis Wade Stadium on September I guess that's the 4th against Louisiana Tech. That's something, we were talking about this with some other players from Ole Miss and from Mississippi State, but having experienced the full stadium, having experienced the walk into the stadium, through the junction for you guys, I assume that there's a level of excitement for you for that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It was exciting last year, but I know it'll be even more this year.
So should be a really good time this year watching the air raid offense move up and down the field. Coach Mike Leach, I always appreciate your time. I know you're a busy man. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Yes, sir. Thanks a lot. Anytime.
Coach Mike Leach on the Farm Bureau.